Today's Daf Kuf Yud Gimel, sponsored the Refuah Shalema for Atalia Bas Chasya. The first thing the Gemara discusses is conditions for the court to act on a summons delivered by a woman or a neighbor. The defendant is presently out of town. Otherwise, they will not take their agency seriously, but assume he came in contact with the agent of the court. The second condition is he does not return home by way of the court. Again, they will not take their agency seriously. They assume that he will come in contact with the agent of the court. The third is he is returning on the same day the summons is given. Otherwise, they will forget to deliver it. The next inyan is, when does the court tear up the excommunication document for not appearing, assuming he doesn't come or not accepting a court decision? As far as appearing in court, he has to appear for the court to tear it up. But even if he says he will pay and does not pay immediately, they tear up this document because he may not have the money at present to pay. A person can always come to the court, but he may not always be able to pay his debt. The next thing the Gemara discusses is the difference between the time the court excommunicates a man and a woman. For a man, they give him a week to appear, from Monday to Monday, and write the document on Tuesday, since he may be out of town. A woman is excommunicated immediately, since in those days they did not travel. Times people are not summoned to the court. The first time is during the month of Nisan. People are not summoned to appear in Nisan, and during Tishrei to appear in Tishrei. Why? They are occupied harvesting grain and grapes. The second time is Friday, for after Friday. People are busy preparing for Shabbos on Erev Shabbos. The third time period is the Kala, or weekly Shabbos lecture, should not be a time to notify a person of his court date, because it may discourage him from coming to the lecture. The same holds true for the Rigla, the lecture on the laws of the holidays, 30 days before the Chag. However, when there were more dishonest people who would attend these lectures to avoid a summons to the court would deliver a summons for even then. The Mishnah. Money collected by tax collectors who collected without limit or were not authorized by the king to collect is considered stolen money. One cannot change larger coins for smaller coins or accept charity from the box that belongs to the tax collector or his purse. He can take either from money he keeps in his house or money he has with him in the marketplace, unless he has to pay a half dinar to his creditor, and all he has is a dinar. If he could not exchange his dinar to smaller coins, he would lose half a dinar. To avoid him a loss of money, we allow him to exchange the larger coin for smaller coins with the tax collector. The law of Dina de Malchusa Dina does not apply in this case because the tax collectors defy Torah law in their manner of collecting. Number one, Rabbi Akiva permits even wearing kilayim to evade unscrupulous tax collectors. The pleasure he gets is unintentional by wearing this kilayim garment. The main purpose he is doing that is to avoid this tax collector. Number two, one can deter an unscrupulous tax collector by claiming his produce is truma or the property of the king. He can reinforce this even by way of an oath. At one point, these laws applied only to Gentile tax collectors, who always exceeded their limit to collect. Later, even Jewish collectors were suspect. A violent Gentile thief, or even just a Gentile thief, took a Yisrael, a Jew, to court, who in all likelihood will steal from the Jew. Rabbi Shmuel holds, if the Gentile cannot be convinced that either according to Jewish or Gentile law the Jew is not liable, then it is permissible to trick the Gentile. Rabbi Akiva, on the other hand, holds that the court cannot trick the Gentile to leave the Jew alone because of the possibility of a Chilul Hashem. Especially a Gentile, if he realizes he is being treated unjustly, he will blame the religion, not only the judge. Stealing from a Gentile. According to Rabbi Akiva, if not for the Chilul Hashem, he agrees it would be permissible to trick the Gentile to remove his claim against the Jew. Apparently, one is permitted to steal from a Gentile. However, Rabbi Akiva proved it is not permissible from a Jew sold in slavery to a Gentile master. He must be bought back at a fair price. One cannot steal from a Gentile, but he can withhold money he owes him. The law concerning returning a lost object to a Gentile. Since the verse in the Torah says, L'chol avedas achicha asher tovad mimenu umtsasa, it indicates even after picking up the lost object, one is only obligated to return it if it is a Jew's, unless the result would be a Chilul Hashem by not returning it to a Gentile. If the Gentile paid too much for a purchased item, if he made a mistake in the calculation without any intervention on the part of the Jew, the Jew is not obligated to return the money. According to Rav Kahana, he must state, however, explicitly that he is relying on the Gentile's calculation. Rav approves that Dina the Malchusa Dina. Wood was cut by the king's representatives from private people without their permission and used to build bridges. If the trees are stolen, then the bridges should not be used. In this case, there is yush, but no shinu rishus, because it becomes public property, and no shinu Hashem, because they are referred to as logs even when built into bridges. The fact that the trees were cut from one valley is apparently still within the law of the king. They have the right to be reimbursed from trees that belong to others in other valleys. If they do not claim reimbursement, it is their own loss. However, as far as the law of Dina de Malchusa Dina provides the king's representatives to cut down trees even in one valley.